Johnnie, here I want you to join the crusade. I've watched you. You know, I've watched you. Sometimes our people disagree with you, but I mean, I understand some of your approach. I mean, sometimes we take a hard bite. It helps us as politicians.
Nowadays, when I listen to you, I even panic.
Why?
Maybe, hey,
Why do you panic?
The way you, Papa, you know, Papa, what you used to fan charcoal.
Right.
You've seen it before.
Right.
When you fan it, then the charcoal goes bright red.
This is a call for accountability.
You fan government's charcoal to it's bright red.
It's a call for accountability.
I enjoy it. This is our society,
Right.
and it will take me and you to do it. That's why I always watch Johnnie's Bite.
The general watches Johnnie's Bite.
Every day.
Thank you very much.
And it's devoid of insults, but straight to the point, factual and fearless.
Charlie, no be joke. The pressure people like Johnnie can give you.
No.
You know, get grey hair, you go get grey hair.
I'm innocent.
And that's what I'm saying. That the pressure Johnnie and his people, the pressure they can give you, you know, get grey hair, you go get. So your best bet is not to have hair.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. And surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Welcome to Johnnie's Bite. Assalamu alaikum. Today is Wednesday. Special day for me and President Akufo-Addo. We were born on Wednesday. And today I have a very special message for the president. At the beginning of the year, I told the president to listen to the grassroots. It appears the president is not listening to the grassroots, and I'll explain to you in a bit. But is it true that in Parliament they can't find lawyer Adwo Asafo, a Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection? Because now it looks as if the caucus within the majority are asking questions and are saying that they can't find lawyer Adwo Asafo. Mind you, lawyer Adwo Asafo is said to be on leave, but again, when we had to vote at some point in December for the e-levy, that story of impersonation had come up. We have not finished the probe. We have not settled that dust. But now people are saying in Parliament, parliamentarians are saying they can't find lawyer Adwo Asafo. If you know where she is, please call her. Tell her mates are looking for her, friends are looking for her, her own party caucus are looking for her. They can't find her. And you see, they can't find her. It's quite interesting because the government keeps telling us that all our problems will be solved immediately we pass e-levy. Wherever anybody is getting that mindset from, I don't know, but they keep telling us that once we pass e-levy, everything else will be sorted out. Well, tonight there will be a documentary on TV3. Roland Walker put that together. It says e-levy, that concept that's almost dividing the nation. So if you know where lawyer Adwo Asafo is, please call her and tell her that her mates are looking for her, colleagues in Parliament are looking for her. And they say she perhaps is becoming the distraction and the disruption in that quest to pass the e-levy into law. Because the Parliament that we have is a very special one. If the Speaker is not there, we have 137 plus 137 because one will sit. Deputy Speaker will sit. So it's a really hung Parliament. And every single number that you require is needed. So at this point, everybody must be whipped into line. Well, the minority have stated their case. The majority have also stated their case. Now let's put the vote and let's see how it goes. In the meantime, UTAG is on strike. Entering the 5th week, or we are in the 5th week already. And you see, I've come to fall in love with UTAG because perhaps unlike the other teacher unions, they won't take a no. They want a yes because over time, they have agreed to things that have not been implemented. So now they say, if you don't give us what we're asking for, we will not go back to the classroom. The students say they want to demonstrate. And yesterday, you could see the frustration on the face of the Minister for Education, of the Minister for Labor, and all the other people who were in the meeting on the side of government. They've been pushed to the wall. And rightly so, because you see, once you work, you must be paid. All of those ministers work and they get paid. Once you work, you must be paid. So how is it that they are working and they are not getting what it is that even countries with lower GDP, and I showed you the example of Belarus the other time. I did an extensive analysis of it for you. Our academic society must not be begging for bread. So UTAG is on strike. And now the leadership of UTAG dare not say we have called off the strike, because now the strike has transcended UTAG and entered into the domain of the entire membership, the rank and file of UTAG. So when you tell them to come and meet you, they say, we want to confer with our members and come to you. When you tell them call off the strike, their members say, come to us and come and confer, because you are leading for us. And that is why this morning, I know that we are celebrating Chocolate Week. So I quickly want to remind the president again, something that he said in 2017 and which was repeated in 2019, that he pulled that 2017 news article for me of the president promising the children. And the Chocolate Week, we are celebrating Chocolate Week. It's been announced. Yesterday I mentioned it. I will mention it until the Chocolate Week is over. Nanado to give every student 1 chocolate daily. October 3, 2017, 1:43 p.m. That was when it was published. It says, Nanado, that's a business inside Africa. Nanado has promised that students from basic to secondary level in Ghanaian schools will be given free chocolate bar or cocoa drinks under the school feeding program. The president of Ghana has made a promise of residents of Kumasi that the new Patriotic Party government will soon start a program to offer every school-going child a free bar of chocolate daily. Nana, chocolates no way. Nana, please, where is the chocolate? The children are asking you this morning. Because it has nutritional value. We also know how it helps the children's mind to grow and develop. And we know how you intended for it to impact on the local consumption of chocolate and cocoa. You promised them cocoa drink. You promised them a bar of chocolate. This morning when the children go to school, they should be getting it. But where is it? Where is the chocolate? So this is just a reminder as we celebrate Chocolate Week or Cocoa Week, and we are telling everybody that, well, let's consume cocoa, blah, blah, blah. You promised the children to give them cocoa. Maybe you have forgotten. I'm just reminding you that you promised them this in 2017, just when you had become president. 2018 has passed, 2019 has passed, 2020 has passed, 2021 has passed. We are in 2022. The children say, Nana, where is our chocolate drink and our chocolate bars? The children are asking that this morning. And this morning, I'm just trying to do a recap. You remember just about 4 or 5 weeks ago, there was a sad incident in the Western region, Fijai. A Holy Family Hospital where somebody had undergone cesarean section, and then the brouhaha of the ambulance people demanding for fuel before they could transport the lady, and the lady had to eventually come and die at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. We were told that, well, they were bringing her all the way to Accra, and they failed to call for air support to be able to lift the one like we had done for Mr. former Deputy Minister, what's his name? I've forgotten. Nay George Anda. The ambulance service had rejected a call by the minority in Parliament to interdict their staff. And we are here on Johnny's Bites had called for a probe into the matter. I remember that the ambulance service also called and asked that the autopsy reports be made public or available to them. The man lost his wife. And I remember on that occasion, I mentioned how an ambulance had been used to carry cement, and I'm not sure they collected fuel from them. But when you live in an upside-down republic, when you are sick and you call an ambulance, even though we tout and say we bought ambulances with our monies or with whatever loans that were contracted or whatever grants that were given to us or whatever we went to beg to go and buy those ambulances to come and launch with pomp and pageantry, you have to go and pay for fuel for the ambulance. If you don't have the fuel money, there are two things. Either the ambulance guys will have some conscience to take you or you will die. In a country called Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana. Play the video of the widower for me. And I want it to enter the eyes and hearts of the people who are supposed to call for the probe. Because when people die out of such situations, the clinic, the regional director, everybody else who is part of the chain must be probed, and we must get to the bottom of it. If this had happened to a minister, a deputy minister, a big man who is a political and has political connection or whatever it is, I'm sure by now would have sorted out the issues. And I told you how Mr. George Anda was airlifted from the central region all the way to Accra. We are all citizens, not spectators. Play the video for me.
What of you and you know? Thinking there. Yeah, look up. Oh, no. Man said they have to drive back to Fijai Hospital. Oh, senior. Young maybe I will pay.
An emotional John Obreyebo's husband to the 31-year-old deceased narrating the ordeal the wife went through, leading to a death. The deceased, Augustina Awoche, lost her life earlier this month after ambulance personnel allegedly delayed her transportation via ambulance to Accra after doctors referred her from the Holy Child Clinic at Fijai in Takrady to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
If you go to Cape Coast Hospital now, we were at the entrance. We stood there. We stood there. They were going up and down. And so that man came to tell me there. Why you then car over Buana in why is it? But in Jim. Boy, you can be upon that. But you tap. About time the moon that made it in there. Well, precise time. Now one brass band I catch up and there. Uncle Chasing 838. Uncle Chasing 838. Meaning it was at that time that my wife.
The minority side of the health committee visiting the husband of the deceased on Wednesday expressed the Speaker and Parliament condolences to the family, extending a commitment that the matter will be probed.
You heard the widower. And he couldn't even narrate the full story because he was so down. That is how wicked we are as a people. And that is why some people who are beneficiaries of whatever system there is do not want us to be the ones talking about it. They lie bad. Because what happened can happen to you, it can happen to me. I can't make a call. You can't make a call. But how is it that in a country full of very respectable, very responsible people, when we have a situation on our hands, they ask us to buy fuel to put in an ambulance. If you don't have the fuel, you cannot get it, you cannot get health care. How? And we say we are middle, upper income, or we throw all the jargons. We throw it out there. How is it that when I'm on the sick bed, I have to look for a bed at the hospital that I've been transferred to before the ambulance can move, aside buying fuel? Are you serious? Let me play the video. The issue at Fijai. I want you to go back to it because you see, if people are not punished, there will not be deterrence. And once there's no deterrence, there will not be perfection in the system. And once there's no perfection, the ordinary man will suffer. And once the ordinary man suffers and the big man is not suffering, I tell you, nothing will change. Nothing will change. Let me come back to studio. So we are calling for a probe, and I will be on this matter until we complete the probe and until people are held accountable for it. I don't care who. I don't care who is held accountable for it. I don't care whose act is God. It can happen to anybody I don't want it to happen to me first before I start talking about it, or my relative. For all you know, it may have happened to my relative before. I don't know. But that is why, Mr. President, this morning, my simple message to you is that it's time to sack some of your ministers and reshuffle some of them. Your ministers are sleeping. Mr. President, your ministers are sleeping. And I'll give you an example. You see, when the Takrady MC misbehaved, and then quickly, Honorable Dan Boche had to write a letter to suggest that, to say that the presidency had directed him to suspend him. You saw the public applause that you got. I told you earlier this year, I said, listen to the grassroots, Mr. President. Some of your ministers and some of your appointees, they are tired. They are frustrated. They are at their wits' end. Sack them. You called Mahama incompetent. You wrote on the fact that he has said he's a dead goat. His party says he was in context. I don't care. You called him incompetent. You called him the inept, right? And you said that he was not qualified to lead the country. Then the dead goat matter has taken center stage. You have not said that you are a dead goat. But the way you are behaving is even more worse than a dead goat. I'm sorry, but I have to tell you. Because the people around you, they will massage your ego. They won't tell you. I can give you a plethora of issues that have happened that the nation has called on you to speak. They have tagged you on social media. People have made statements on TV and radio. People have, respectable people, they expect for you to speak, Mr. President, and you've been silent. There are two things. Either the people around you who give you the briefings every morning don't tell you, or you are pretending not to know what is happening in the country that you lead. Your minister for roads, even before the budget was approved, the lawyer that he is, your relative that he is, in what has been known as your family and friends government, he went ahead, even when the finance minister had read that until parliamentary approval is given for the budget, the road tolls will continue to be a revenue line for 2021. He went ahead and stopped it on his own. You have not sacked him. You have not punished him. So now he finds cause to tell us that the road tolls that he abolished, when he promised us that he was going to make sure that those physically challenged people who we applauded you and the roads minister for making responsible at the 38 road tolling points, because we gave them jobs. He said that we're going to provide alternatives for them. 4 months on, November, December, January, February. 4 months on. He has not come to tell us what alternative jobs he has created for them. But he's talking about using toll booths for toilets and washroom. E-toilet and e-washroom in the middle of a street. Mr. President, some of your ministers are tired. You have to either sack them or reshuffle them. Play the video. And now he's backtracking. Play the video of the minister saying that he is thinking, and you see, what hurts me is that he's even thinking of doing that. You are thinking of converting toll booths into public toilets and washrooms. That's your thinking. That's the innovation. That is the innovation. In today's Ghana, that is your thinking. Mr. President, see, I'll play the video for you. But some of the brightest and best lawyers in this country had come from your firm, Akufo-Addo, Prempeh and Co. The brightest and best lawyers. Name them. His Lordship, Yoni Kolen, name them. Brightest and best lawyers. Lawyer Tachian, Gloria Kufu, name them. Brightest and best lawyers. They had come from your firm. Are you suggesting to me that if you were looking at Ghana as your law firm, Akufo-Addo, Prempeh and Co., this is how you would have managed it? That you put all manner of people as ministers. And I don't blame you entirely. I blame our parliamentarians too. They approve just anything. You give us a list of ministers that you have reservations about, and then the next minute you are approving them, and even the one who couldn't answer a question on fish farming is getting the highest votes. It speaks volumes of our parliament. Now they say they have repented. We hope to see. But Mr. President, I'm asking you a question this morning. If this were Akufo-Addo, Prempeh and Co., your law chambers that has created and given us the brightest and best lawyers in this town, is this how you manage it? Would you still keep some of the ministers we are seeing around? Play the minister's video for me.
Continue to work with them, and we have come out with a lot of suggestions. We even want to refurbish all those toll booth structures to provide proper and decent washrooms, for instance, for the use by motorists, so that we advise them to desist from the practice that we see at times. You find out or you see cars stopping indiscriminately on the highway and people getting out to wee, as we usually say it, urinating. You see men on the left, women on the right, or at times you see a man, a woman. It's all indecent.
So that we are not having the talk back.
It's not a good practice. When we get to the bridge, we shall cross it.
We'll wrap up. I want the voices of the streets, the people who were speaking pidgin, the ordinary Ghanaians who have been asked to be citizens or spectators, who have not attended a lot of school and have not attained too much in life. They spoke about this situation. And he played that for me. We played it earlier today on the news. Play that for me, their reaction to what the minister said. And the minister, by the way, is 70 years old. No insults. But in a country where they tell us that young people cannot find jobs to do, people who have gone past the retiring age of 60 and are 70. And you see, the thing is that sometimes they even talk down at us. When you ask a question, they forget suddenly that they are servants. And they talk down at us. Mr. President, agreed, John Mahama is not your standard. That's what you say. Even though you have borrowed more than he borrowed, everything else that you criticized him for, you have ticked all the boxes apart from the IMF box. Which is why you have cold feet to go to the IMF. But between you and I, we know that the country is broke. And you can roam around and tell people about town hall meetings and e-levy, but you know that we are broke. And a simple acknowledgement, honest acknowledgement will show that we are broke. Once you agree to it, the people will come to the table. So, John Mahama is not your standard, according to you. Even though the books now are showing that you are doing worse than he did. Your standard is John Adjeku Kufuor, who we call the peerless Kufuor, the gentle Jack. If Kufuor is your standard, he would have done a reshuffle a long time ago. Some of those ministers that you defended in your first administration, when we asked about the elephant-sized government, you told us you know what you were doing, and that you know what numbers you have, and that you also know what impact you are looking for. After we finished 2020, the electorate showed you that your scorecard is bad. Because you won an election by 1 million votes in 2016. You had 169 seats in parliament. What is the story today? Even after one district, one factory, one village, one dam, free SHS, planting for food and job, exploring for food and job, all those things, ambulance, everything else. What scorecard? Now your numbers have reduced, both on the parliamentary side, and your presidential votes halved. If I were you, Mr. President, I would shake up the government to make them wake up. Because some of your ministers, they are tired, they are sleepy, and they are not performing. And you are pretending as if nothing is happening. I'm asking if this were Akufo-Addo, Prempeh, and co-law chambers. Is that how you manage it? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Good morning.